Anyway, we'll go through these patch notes. I might be able to grab this and use it for YouTube as well. So we'll go through it. But yeah, okay. So what we'll do is we'll go through this. So these are the notes that I made earlier while we spent quite a bit of time going through the patch notes that are currently on the PTR. So this is things that we've drawn out, you know, that we think's good, things that, you know, I particularly was like, okay, this is exciting, this is interesting. These are things I think, you know, you guys might want to know about. So we kind of split it into three different sections, and I'll run through all of them now. Feel free to blast chat. I'll be watching as well, but we'll run through them all, and then we'll have a bit of a chat afterwards. But we broke them into three different sections. So quality of life updates, war updates, and then stuff that is, you know, new content essentially. So we'll start off with the quality of life. These are things, you know, these two sections here for me are far more important than the content update. The content's just nice, the stuff's coming. Let's just pray that this doesn't break what's currently in the game. But there's some kind of cool stuff happening here as well. So it's quite nice that, you know, the things that I've picked out, you can see are much larger than the content. You know, the highlighted blue now, all this stuff is really, really important that this gets fixed sooner rather than later. Anyway, I'll stop waffling on. So the quality of life updates that I like, first things first, we've been asking for this for bloody ages. It makes sense, as in lots of MMOs that have any sort of time gating. The daily and weekly cooldowns are now universal, and I think it was at 5 a.m. That is, you know, it was hidden away in the patch notes. I was like, this is a massive change. This is, you know, we don't have to worry about checking our timings. It's just every day in the morning. So when you log in for that particular day, you have a fresh cooldown, and you can either go and play OPR with your friends, or you can do dungeons with your friends. Simple change, but really, really nice. You can open your inventory while moving. Again, not like a massive change to most people, but for me, and I think probably a lot of you guys as well, this is fantastic. And I tried it yesterday while we were doing the Tempest Heart Expedition. You can run and you can use stuff in your inventory. So I was running along, and you, for example, can use a corruption tincture. You can use honing stones. And I'm thinking hopefully in wars, we'll be able to pop haste pots, and we'll be able to pop food. So we can leave our consumables bar for 4 things that just make sense for your particular build. Another kind of quality of life change. If for whatever reason you don't want anything above tier 1 ammo, tier 1 ammo is now infinite, so you don't have to buy any ammo if you don't want. If you're using a bow or a gun, so your musket, your bow, or your soon-to-be blunderbuss, it's you know, you don't need ammo. It's free, it's infinite, it's there, it's going to be in your gun. The other higher tiers you'll still need to purchase. So your star metal, your alchemy, you'll need to make them or purchase them. Something for the OPR. OPR consumables will auto equip if there's space on your consumables bar. Again, kind of a small change, but for us that enjoy OPR, you go to the armory. You don't want to be faffing about when there's a big fight happening just behind you on the point. You go in there, you buy it, boom, it's on your hotbar, off you go. That's really nice. You can sign up to wars and invasions from the map. You'll also be able to do OPR from the map as well. Again, kind of a small change, but nice. So we can be out questing, doing our trade skills, whatever you want to do. You don't have to keep going back to town. Nice change there. This is a big one. So the way it was before, if for argument's sake, Syndicate owns Morningdale, they also own Monarch's Bluff, you can transfer materials between these two towns, but you had to have control of it within your faction, and it would cost quite a lot of money. Now there's no cost associated to it, and it doesn't matter what faction, so you will be able to transfer materials from any storage to any other storage completely for free, and it doesn't cost anything. You can move materials around the map, no problem at all. That mixed with two other great things. First one is fast travel is completely free. It's not completely free, it's like 10 Azoth. It's practically free. I wasn't mad about Azoth before. You just had to be a bit more careful. You know, don't travel with a full inventory, all that sort of shit. But this just makes it so easy. You can go anywhere on the map without worrying at all. No problems. That mixed with all your storage chests being doubled. So if you have, it is what it is. Any storage chest that you have in any house is doubled now. The only change that they haven't made, which would have been nice, is if you guys have filled up your storage, you'll realize that there is a 500 item limit on your storage. That's not changed. That's still a thing, and yeah, that sucks. But all storage is completely doubled at the moment, which is nice. And finally, if you do decide to move house, let's say you hate these guys, you don't like whoever's running Everfull. Who's that? I don't know. Redemption. Let's say you don't like Redemption, you hate the way they run Everfull. Boom, sell your house, you'll get half of the cost back, no problem. It's a little kickback. Again, it's not a massive change, but if you spend 20k on a house, you should get 10k back. Just a little change, which is quite nice. So they're the kind of quality of life changes that I've seen, which are currently on the PTR. It's not in live yet, but these are changes that will be coming into game, unless they change them, of course, beforehand. So it's what they are at the moment. The war updates, these are things that, again, there's not loads of changes, but there's a few really important changes that I think are going to really change the way wars are happening at the moment. First thing is, massive one, wars are now going to be 40 versus 40, not 50 versus 50. That's 20 less people on on the battlefield. Doesn't sound like much, but hopefully that will help slightly with the lag. It's going to change some tactics as well. And obviously the huge change, which probably most of you know by now, is that defenders can only spawn in the fort. You can't spawn on A, B, and C. So again, it sounds small, but when you think about it, it's massive. Every single war we've had, there's been hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of wars. Whenever you're attacking, people would spawn around you. Even if there was no lag in the game, I still feel that this is kind of an interesting change, and I think it's probably a good change. You know, you're attacking someone on point, someone spawns behind you, they smack you in the back of the head, they fuck you up, you're gone. This is really nice because you know, as an attacker now, any enemy that's coming for you will probably, or will have to be coming out of the fort. Obviously they can flank around, but that'll take a lot longer. They will be coming straight out of that fort, so you can start to be prepared for this. Two massive changes. I'll just see Ziggy messaging there, Amazon giving up on fixing the lag. Hopefully, you know, I've said it time and time again, this should not be 40 versus 40. This should be 400 versus 400, man. This is what it should be. You know, you've got your company, which is 100 man. Obviously, some people have more than 100, whatever. You got your 100 man from the company. You got 300 people joining from your faction. It's going to be epic, because at that point we're going to have servers that are 10,000 people, and the wars are going to be epic, and there's going to be no lag, and it's going to be fantastic, and we're all going to have a great time. It's not the case at the moment, but that's what I hope for. One day, please, Amazon, bring us epic wars. That's what I came for, but maybe one day, man. Yeah, I'm on the hopium, boys. I'm on hopium. And the last change, which is kind of good. Again, this isn't going to be seen by a lot of people, or a lot of people aren't going to give a shit about it, but seeing a player's average gear score will now appear on the war board. So one of the biggest pain in the asses when you're organizing a war board was seeing anything to do with a player. This should hopefully expand in the future. Just seeing a player's gear score, you know, if you just hover over it and you just see a number, it's not really going to help. But hopefully in the future you'll see what weapon they're using, you know, currently what they've got currently equipped, and just some more information about them. That'll be really helpful to people that are choosing wars. And hopefully when we get our 400 v 400 wars, that will really help, because there'll be a lot more players in the war than just your clan members. That's what I hope for. That's the current changes for the wars. So these two are going to be massive. We'll see how they go in the future. Hopefully this comes out in March, because I know a lot of people are interested in the wars. A lot of people like playing the wars, but a lot of people are pissed off with kind of how the wars play out. So this is going to be awesome. Kind of on that topic, I feel like we were having a bit of a discussion about it last night on stream as well, because of these changes, especially this one. This should hopefully make it kind of a 50 versus 50%, you know, 50% versus 50%, whether an attacker or defender will win the fight. So in theory, making it a bit more skill based rather than defenders spawning straight on the point. Hopefully creating more open world combat. So again, let's say we're Redemption owning Everfall, and let's say who we got down here. Let's say we got Hot Grills or Full Control. They're coming in to take out Everfall, and Redemption know that these two clans are better than them, or they have a really good chance of taking Everfall. It will be within Redemption's, it'll be within the owners of Everfall's interest to get out and fight the people that are sending, you know, who are trying to declare war on them. Hopefully, in theory, creating more open world combat. In theory, hopefully. That's something that I really enjoy, and it just for me, it kind of brings the server to life. It's just wild when people are attacking. You don't get much of that, but I hope that is a thing. And of course, if you guys know me by now, I'm still chatting shit about wanting this to change. So if I am Marauders and Covenant take my fort, Covenant start to gain influence. If I want to stop Covenant getting influence, I have to go and take that fort back off them. So that, in essence, is creating a kind of a mini war before the war at the fort. It's really what I hope happens. Some like established area where PvP just happens, or some sort of something like that. And I believe that that's a change that can be made without like building extra objectives into the game. I really hope that they bring something like that in. Anyway, that's the war changes, that's the quality of life changes, and I'll just run you through very quickly the content updates that we've got coming out. So the first one, Blunderbuss, we all know that. Tempest Heart, we know that. There's something called world paintings, which are essentially viewpoints, and there's going to be one of them in each territory, where you get a painting and you can collect those 2 paintings. Again, not a huge exciting content update, but it's kind of cool, especially for new players coming in. And we've got a dude called Dudette called Rafflebones. He is essentially the way they described it is like a loot goblin. And when I envisage, you know what I'm trying to say, him or her or it, you know, a little loot goblin with the loot sack on the back. When you kill him, I want lots of nice gifts to appear, but you have 45 seconds to kill him when you find him. The higher level you are, I think the better rewards. And if he's in a level 60 zone, he will drop umbral shards as well. So you get, you know, we basically got a loot goblin coming in, and he's going to be random around the map. We've got Stinky the Hunter, which I think is going to be in Weaver's Fen, I believe. He's a level 30 kind of bit of content. And we got the Forgotten Yeti, which is going to be somewhere in Great Cleave. That's kind of cool. And then the last thing that we kind of read, something called Roadside Encounters. I don't have high hopes for this. I don't know what it is. All they said is there's going to be roadside encounters in the game. Who knows what that means? But in general, this patch here, changes that are currently sat on the PTR are huge compared to what we've seen in the game. To be honest, I don't think this is enough to want people who have been like, nah, fuck New World. I'm uninstalling. I'm never playing again. Too much. It's not good enough for me yet. Not enough content. I don't think that's going to bring people back. But with the kind of promotions that they're pushing at the moment, getting some eyes on the game, it's kind of nice. It's kind of like, you know, people having a quick look around the corner. Okay, they're doing some shit. We'll leave that for now. And you know, I truly believe if they can bring out arenas for PvP, competitive mutations for PvE side, and of course kind of fix the general kind of desync issues and all that sort of jazz that we're seeing at the moment, that's the time to really push it. Oh, and of course bring us Brimstone Sands, which is kind of up here. We've seen a brief look at this and it looks amazing. Well, we believe that this is the next area coming. There's also another area up here, but Brimstone Sands has been the one that's kind of been the most data mined and people have seen back in the day. But yeah, that's just a quick look at what we've seen that's coming out. Yeah, pretty exciting times, to be honest. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of months.